Okay, so you know how everyone's always talking about finding your purpose? It's like, where is this magical purpose hiding and how do I catch it?
Right. It does feel a little elusive, doesn't it? Like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Totally. And that's actually what I love about this article we're diving into. Finding your purpose is easy, actually. It throws that whole epic purpose myth out the window.
It's true, that idea that we each need some grand, life-defining purpose can be so overwhelming.
Exactly. It's like suddenly planning the best office party ever doesn't seem like enough.
And that's a shame,
Yeah.
because it's not about the scale of the achievement, it's the feeling it gives you. Finding your purpose, it could be anything from restoring vintage furniture to like baking the most incredible sourdough bread. If it brings you genuine satisfaction and energy, that's what matters.
Okay, I love that. And you know what's really interesting? The article suggests a really simple starting point for tapping into that. Your natural curiosity. Like those times you fall down a rabbit hole researching something totally random.
Oh, absolutely. Our brains are wired to seek out those little bits of novelty and make connections, right?
Exactly. Like, remember that time you spent hours researching penguins?
See, those are clues, those little whispers from your subconscious saying, hey, this is interesting.
So, our own brains are giving us hints all along, but we're so busy trying to figure it all out that we miss them.
We overthink it instead of paying attention to what actually excites us.
It's true, we do. Okay, so let's say we want to get better at paying attention to those things we're passionate about. How does that translate into finding our purpose? The article talks about something called the spike method, and no, it has nothing to do with volleyball.
Right, no athleticism required here. It's about becoming incredibly skilled in one specific area, whatever that might be for you.
So, give me an example. Let's say you're insanely good at organizing, like Marie Kondo on steroids.
Exactly. Imagine being known for having the most meticulously organized sock drawer on the planet.
Okay, I love it. People would be lining up for tips. But how does that tie back to purpose?
Well, think about it. Not only does developing that spike give you this sense of accomplishment, but it inherently becomes something you can share.
Yeah.
You become the go-to person for that specific thing.
That's such a good point. So it's not just about the skill itself, it's the impact it has when you share it with other people.
Precisely. And that act of sharing, of contributing that talent, even in seemingly small ways, can be incredibly fulfilling. Who knows, maybe that meticulously organized sock drawer is just the beginning of a lifelong passion for bringing order to the world.
Right. I love how this article is all about taking action. It actually gives you a challenge to uncover those hidden passions. The 30-day experiment.
There's a reason this technique is so effective. The power of short-term commitments,
Okay.
right?
Before we get into the psychology behind it, let me ask our listener, what's one thing you've been curious about lately? Maybe learning a new language or trying a different style of cooking, or finally tackling that pile of books on your nightstand?
It doesn't even have to be a huge time commitment. The key is picking something, anything, and engaging with it consistently, just for 30 days.
Okay, so 30 days. Why is that the magic number? What's the science behind it?
Well, our brains love novelty, right? But they also crave structure and a sense of accomplishment. And a 30-day challenge, it kind of provides both. It's a manageable time frame, so we're more likely to follow through. And as we experience those small wins each day, it creates this positive feedback loop that keeps us motivated.
It's like you're kind of tricking your brain into having fun. And, the article doesn't just leave you to go solo on this whole purpose journey. It also talks about the importance of finding your tribe. And no, we're not talking about venturing off into the wilderness here.
Right, no need to pack your bags and find a guru on a mountaintop.
Exactly. In this case, it's about connecting with your people, those who share your interests. And these days, with the internet and everything, it's easier than ever to find them, right?
Absolutely. No matter how niche your thing is, there's a whole community out there for you. Forums, social media groups, you name it.
It's amazing. And that's where things get really interesting on this purpose journey. When you surround yourself with those people who just get it, who share that enthusiasm, it's like, let's say you're really into antique maps of fictional cities.
See, I knew you were a kindred spirit. It's like you can just tell, right?
But you get what I mean. When you find those people, it just clicks.
Exactly. And that validation, it's huge for staying motivated. Suddenly, you're not just doing your thing in isolation. These communities, they become spaces to bounce ideas, share knowledge, even work on projects together. It's like leveling up your whole purpose game,
It's like you're not on a solo mission anymore. You've got backup.
which I think is so important because, you know, even when we're passionate about something, there are going to be times when motivation dips or we start doubting ourselves.
It's inevitable, right? We all hit those bumps in the road.
But having that tribe, those people who've been there, it makes all the difference. They can offer encouragement, advice, or even just a virtual high five to remind you why you started in the first place. Exactly. We're not meant to do this alone. And speaking of navigating those ups and downs, the article makes another important point, embracing the pivot. It's like finding your purpose isn't about rigidly sticking to one path forever. It's about being open to change.
It's like saying, okay, I explored this, learned a ton. Now what else is out there?
Right. It's about being willing to evolve. And
Mm.
often, those seemingly unrelated experiences we collect along the way, they end up enriching our overall purpose in these unexpected
It's
ways.
all connected, even if it doesn't seem like it at first. I feel like what I'm getting from this article is that we need to be a little more relaxed about this whole finding your purpose thing, you know?
Definitely. It's about enjoying the ride, embracing those detours, and trusting that it's all leading us somewhere meaningful.
I love that. And, the article's conclusion really sums it up. Your purpose is what you make it.
It is empowering, isn't it? Because it reminds us that we have the power to shape our own lives and define what purpose means for us.
Yes. It's not some external force we have to chase down. So before we wrap things up, let's bring it back to our listeners. What would you say is the key takeaway from all of this?
I'd say the biggest takeaway is to shift your perspective. Instead of viewing purpose as this big, elusive thing you have to find, recognize that it's already present in your life. It's in those moments when you're so engrossed in something that you completely lose track of time.
It's like when I'm writing music or lost in a good book, time just flies.
See? Those are the moments. Those are the clues. It's about tuning into those activities that make you feel truly alive, that bring you joy. They hold the key to your purpose.
This is making me realize it's not about stressing over finding that one monumental purpose, but rather about noticing and appreciating the things that already fulfill us. Purpose is in the everyday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a journey, not a destination. So embrace new experiences, be open to change, and trust that each step you take, no matter how small, is guiding you towards a more purposeful life.
So instead of waiting for that big aha moment, it's about tuning into those moments we already have where we're feeling happy and fulfilled right now.
Exactly. It's less about searching and more about savoring. That feeling when you're so absorbed in something that you completely lose track of time, those are the good signs.
It's funny because when I think about those times I've felt most in the zone, it hasn't been during some big life-changing event. It's usually when I'm writing music or I get lost in a good book or even just having a deep conversation with a friend. Those are the moments I feel most alive.
It's those seemingly ordinary moments that hold so much power. I think that's where we really tap into those authentic parts of ourselves. It's about really enjoying those interests, that pure joy of learning something new or the connections you make with people who share your passions. That's where purpose comes to life.
And the best part is, it's not a one and done kind of deal. The article reminds us that finding your purpose is a continuous journey, not some final destination to reach.
It's so true. I think we get so caught up in searching for that one defining purpose that we forget to enjoy the process.
It's like we're so busy looking for the treasure that we miss all the beautiful scenery along the way.
Precisely. We have to embrace those new experiences, allow ourselves to grow and change, and trust that each step, even the tiny ones, they all play a part in the grand scheme of things.
I love that. Well, this has been incredibly insightful, but before we wrap up, I have one final question. What's one small step our listeners can take today to tap into that sense of enjoyment and purpose we've been talking about?
It goes back to taking action. Instead of overthinking it, just choose one thing, one small act that you know brings you joy, whether it's picking up a paintbrush, finally trying that new recipe you've been eyeing, or even just taking 5 minutes to really listen to your favorite music.
Okay.
Just be present in that moment.
I love that. It's not about having all the answers or mapping out some elaborate plan. It's about taking that first step and then another, and just trusting that the path will reveal itself along the way.
Exactly. Embrace the journey, explore those interests, and never forget. Purpose isn't something you find out there. It's something you cultivate, one joyful moment at a time.
Beautifully said. And on that note, that wraps up our deep dive for today. We hope you enjoyed exploring the world of purpose with us.